Good morning. Or good afternoon, Mr. Adams. Good afternoon. Mr. Adams, how old are you? 33. Where were you born? In New York. Can you speak into the microphone? New York. Where in New York? Manhattan. Where did you grow up? In the Lower East Side and in Harlem. How far did you go in school? GED. Where do you currently live? In Queens. Where in Queens? GEO Correctional Facility. Is that a federal prison? Yes. Approximately how long have you lived in federal prison? 44 months. When were you first arrested? July 9th, 2015. What were you arrested for? Robbery and a murder. Have you pled guilty to any federal crimes? Yes. What federal crimes have you pled guilty to? Robbery, conspiracy to commit robbery, murder, racketeering, drugs, and an attempted murder. Did you plead guilty to firearms offenses as well? Yes. Have you been sentenced yet? No. What is the maximum sentence you are facing on those charges? Life. Why are you testifying here today? Because I don't want to do life. Are you testifying here today pursuant to a cooperation agreement? Yes. What are your duties under the cooperation agreement? To tell the truth, meet with the government when they want to meet, forfeit all the things I may have gotten from the crimes I did, and commit no further crimes. I want to come back to this a little bit later, your cooperation agreement. Mr. Adams, you testified that you pled guilty to racketeering conspiracy, correct? Yes. What was that plea for? For being a member of the Blood Hound Brims. What is the Blood Hound Brims? A gang, a blood gang. How long were you a member of the Blood Hound Brims? From when it started, all the way to 2016. When did they start? 2005. Looking around the courtroom today, do you recognize any other members of the Blood Hound Brims? Yes. Who do you see? I see Latique Johnson, I see Don P., and I see Light. Let's go one by one. Can you please describe where Latique Johnson is sitting and what he's wearing? He's sitting all the way to the left with a blue-collar shirt on. Do you know Latique Johnson by any other name? Yes. What name? La Brim, straight to business, breezy. May the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Latique Johnson. The record will so reflect. Can you describe where Don P. is sitting and what he's wearing? Sitting right next to him with glasses on, bald head. Let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Donnell Murray. The record will so reflect. Can you please describe where Light is sitting and what he is wearing? He's sitting at the end with glasses on, blue-collar shirt on, and tie. Let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Brandon Green. The record will so reflect. Mr. Adams, before you became a member of the Blood Hound Brims, were you a member of any other gangs? Yeah, I was a 5'9" Brim. I'm sorry? I was 5'9" Brim, and I was LNW. What is LNW? It was a street gang in Harlem. What does that stand for? Lords never worry. What type of gang is 5'9" Brim? That's a Brim set. It's blood. How long were you a member of 5'9" Brim? About 2 to 3 years approximately. After you were 5'9" Brim, what gang were you a member of? Bloodhound Brim. Where were you living at the time you became a member of the Bloodhound Brims? I was in Comstock Correctional Facility. What kind of correctional facility is that? A New York State Correctional Facility. What crime were you in state prison for at that time? Robbery. How long did you serve in state prison for that particular robbery? 8 years. What years was that? From 2003 all the way to 2011. Can you remind the jury approximately when you became a member of the Bloodhound Brims? 2005. How did you first learn about Bloodhound Brims? I learned about it through a kite from Latique Johnson to Geronimo. Who is Geronimo? Geronimo is the co-founder of the Blood Hound Brim. What's a kite? A letter. How did you come to read the kite? Well, he brought it to the yard. Who brought it to the yard? Geronimo. What yard are you talking about? Comstock's yard. Who was the kite from? It was from La. How did you know the kite was from La Brim? He signed it at the bottom, and Geronimo said it was from La. How did La Brim sign the letter? Breezy. Was Breezy a name that you were familiar with at the time? Yes. How? That's his AKA. At the time that Geronimo showed you the kite, had you ever met La Brim in person? No. At the time that you saw that letter, did you know who La Brim was? Yes. How did you know? Because I was 5'9" Brim, and he was the 5-star general for 5'9" Brim. What is a 5-star general? It's a high-ranking member. What was your position in 5'9" Brim at the time? I had no position. I was a soldier. Had you ever communicated with La Brim before you received or saw this kite? Yeah, I sent him letters before. Sent who letters before? La. What had you communicated about? Just staying in communication. Like I say, he was a 5-star general for the 5'9" Brim. What kinds of communications? Who was on the lineup? What was going on with 5'9" Brim? And you're saying lineup. What was a lineup? It's a chain of command. What did the letter say that Geronimo showed you from La Brim? The letter just said that he was starting BHB, and he was looking for shooters. BHB, is that the Blood Hound Brims? Correct. What is a shooter? Person that takes scalpels and cut people. It's another word for someone who put work in. What does it mean to put work in? To cut, beat people up, do whatever you gotta do to further yourself in the game. As a result of this letter, what did you decide to do? I decided to join Blood Hound Brims. Why did you decide to leave 5'9" Brim and become a Blood Hound Brim? Because at the time we called La the poster child for 5'9" Brim. And if he wasn't 5'9" Brim, it wasn't cool to be 5'9" Brim. And at the time that you joined Blood Hound Brims in 2005, to your knowledge, approximately how many people were in the gang? Approximately 13 to 15 people. When you were arrested by the federal authorities in July 2015, to your knowledge, how many people were in the gang? Well, 16 pedigrees was an average of 30 people in each pedigree. What is a pedigree? It's a different chapter of the Blood Hound Brims. Were you in a pedigree? Yes. What pedigree? The Greyhound. Why were you in the Greyhound pedigree? Because I'm from Harlem. Were pedigrees based on locations? Yes. Can you give some examples of pedigrees in corresponding locations? You got the Bassett, Long Island, Beagle, Queens, 220s, Bronx, the Greyhound, which is Harlem, Out of Bounds, which is PA. It's a bunch. It's 16. You say PA. What is PA? Pennsylvania. Are those all the pedigrees? No. Do you recall testifying that when you joined the gang, you were in Comstock State Prison? Correct. Were there other New York State prisons that you lived in during your years that you were incarcerated? Yes. What were some of the prisons where you were housed? Auburn, 5 Points, Elmira, Riverview, Mohawk, Marcy, a bunch more. Based on your experience during your time as a member of the Blood Hound Brims, where in the New York prison system did BHB operate? Everywhere. Did BHB eventually operate outside prison as well? Yes. Where geographically did the gang operate outside of prison? 5 boroughs, upstate New York, Pennsylvania, a couple places. Did there come a time when you met La Brim in person? Yes. When was that? Auburn Correctional Facility, 2007. How long were you and La Brim in Auburn State Prison together? Approximately 3 months. I want to show you what's been marked Government Exhibit 1. Do you recognize this exhibit? Yeah. How do you recognize it? That's La. The government offers Government Exhibit 1. No objection. And government offers Government Exhibits 1A and 1C, which are nameplates. Is there any objection? No. No objection. All right. Government Exhibits 1, 1A, and 1C are received.